Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskritya.
Narayanam Namaskritya.
Naram Cheva Narottamam.
Naram Chaiva Narottamam.
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam.
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam.
Tato Jayamudire.
Tato Jayamudire.
Ashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu.
Ashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu.
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya.
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya.
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke.
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke.
Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki.
Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki.
Om Jnanatimidandasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapad Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Gamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshakarine Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Pinamine Shri Devi Daitaye Kripadaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Gaine Prabhave Namah Madhurya Chola Premadya Shri Rupanuga Bhaktida Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namastute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dinatarine Rupanuga Viruddhapa Siddhanta Dhvanta Harine Namo Gaura Kishoraya Sakshat Vairagya Murtaye Vipralambara Sambhode Padambujayate Namah Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Satchidananda Namine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanugavarayate Gaura Vibhava Bhume Swam Nirdeshta Sajjana Priya Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Shri Jagannatha Namah Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Mahamadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Krishi Namah Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Svarupakam Bhaktavatar Bhaktakhram Mami Bhakta Shaktikam He Krishna Purana Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Surato Bangor Mama Manda Madirgati Matsarvasya Padam Bhojo Radha Madana Mohano Divya Vrindaranya Kalpadrumadha Srimad Ratnagara Simhasanastav Srimad Radha Srila Govinda Devo Krishnali Visevimanam Smarami Srimad Rasarasarambhi Vamshi Vatattakastitau Harshan Venu Swane Gopi Gopinatha Shri Estunah Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Devi Pranamami Haripriye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. Welcome to our Saturday Sangha. Today we are going to discuss an overview of chapters 6 to 10. overview of chapters 6 to 10 of Canto 3 of Srimad Bhagavatam. And these chapters describe creation. They describe it as, if you remember, the third canto, it started with Vidura's description of Vidur's detachment. Vidur served the kingdom of Hastinapur with all his heart, with all his mind, with all his energy. His whole life was dedicated to the service of Hastinapur. Vidur was a wonderful devotee of Lord Krishna. He was such a nice devotee that Krishna chose to go to his home and not to Duryodhan's home. So many examples of Vidur's devotion. And for all that loyalty to the kingdom, for all that uh, selfless service to the kingdom, and for all that devotion to Lord Krishna, what did Vidur get? Kicked out very unceremoniously, insultingly. He was relieved of his duties. He was relieved of his all his identity with the Kuru dynasty. He was insulted in front of everybody and kicked out. So that's what you get when you become a staunch devotee of Lord Krishna. Then Krishna, sometimes whoever is listening to Zoom here, you're already physically here, so you might as well shut Zoom. There's echo coming. But that was the best thing that could happen to Vidur, according to Vidur only, because that forced him to take full shelter of Krishna. That unceremonious event forced him to take full shelter of Lord Krishna at a time where otherwise he would have carried on with the kingdom. Although he was still a very wonderful devotee of Lord Krishna, but Krishna made him go deeper in his devotion to him by that event. And then the next 3 chapters, we describe the Bhagavatam describes Vidur's conversation with Uddhav. Uddhav. And Uddhav's unconditional love for Krishna is shown by how Uddhav was remembering Krishna. And then Uddhav goes on to describe all the activities of Lord Krishna in Vrindavan, in Dwarka, all these wonderful activities he describes. And then he tells Vidur that Lord Krishna has gone, he has left this earth. He has gone, he's wound up his pastimes and he's gone back. And then Uddhav carries on, and Vidur is directed to who? Maitreya Muni. And Vidur meets Maitreya Muni, although so when he meets Maitreya Muni, he offers his respects to Maitreya Muni, and then he asks him certain questions, all of which are directed towards, I want to hear more about Lord Krishna. Although he heard so much from Uddhav, still he was not satiated. He wanted to hear more and more about Lord Krishna. In the Gita, the Chaturshloki Gita, the second verse, Matchitta Madgata Prana Bodhayanta Parasparam Kathayantascha Mam Nityam Tushyanti Cha Ramanti Cha. These are the characteristics of a devotee. They are Matchitta. They are always, their consciousness is in Krishna. Madgata Prana. Their life is meant for Krishna's service. Bodhayanta Parasparam. They are always wanting to hear. They are always wanting to speak. Kathayantas Cha Mam Nityam. Always. Tushyanti Cha Ramanti Cha. In this way, they delight in Krishna consciousness. We all have certain things that we delight in, that gives us some pleasure, right? We all have a list of things. It could be something small as just 5 minutes alone, or some food, or some music, or some person, or some event, or some activity, or some hobby, or something I like to do that brings me some happiness. But the sign that we are advancing in Krishna consciousness is if all these events are in Krishna consciousness. If a kirtan makes me feel blissful, if hearing about something makes me feel blissful, if reading Bhagavatam, associating with devotees, going to holy places, these things make me blissful. Just taking darshan of Radharas Vihari, reading Prabhupada's books, then I fit in that definition of the Bhagavatam, of Bhagavad Gita, Tushyanti Cha Ramanti Cha. So Vidur is in that stage. So he just wants to know about Krishna. And now the next chapter starts. And before I gave you this overview, what did I say these next few chapters are about? Creation. So it doesn't make sense. You want to, Vidur is saying, you give me Krishna Katha. And Maitreya is giving him Katha of creation. And where have we heard this creation before? Second canto. We just heard it. But of course, this is the story of Vidur and Maitreya. So, hearing it again, story of creation. These are the chapters that we are going to give a very, very short overview today. Supposed to give to chapter 12, but then those chapters 11 and 12 we will do next time. Chapter 6 is titled Creation of the Universal Form. Where else have we read about the universal form? 11th chapter of Bhagavatam. Bhagavad Gita, very good. 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, we have read about the description of the universal form. Again here in Bhagavatam, creation of the universal form. Chapter 7, further inquiries by Vidur. And these inquiries, you can read this chapter. You read all these chapters, but especially the 7th chapter is very interesting because Vidur asks about if the Lord is creating, then is he not influenced by this creation? We make a home. When you work hard to make a home, what happens about your relationship with the home? You get attached. You get attached to the home. Then you want to maintain that home. And when something happens, like something happens to the paint, or something happens to the light, or something happens, it's as if a scratch has come on your body. Same with a new car. You worked hard. You bought a new car, a new pair of white sneakers. I used to always that anxiety. So then, मालूम है थोड़े हफ्ते बाद वो हो जाएगा and then we won't care what initial. So he asked, Krishna has made all this. Wouldn't he also be? Wouldn't he be somewhat attached to it? Wouldn't he be influenced by it? Then chapter 8, manifestation of Brahma from Garbhodakshai Vishnu. Chapter 9, Brahma's prayers for creative energy. And chapter 10, divisions of the creation. So these are all technical, but there is one common theme throughout these chapters, and that is the only thing that we will be discussing today because that is relevant to us. So this first one, creation of the universal form. As you all said, in the Bhagavad Gita, the 11th chapter, Krishna describes, because Arjun asks. And why does Arjun ask? Because Krishna speaks this verse in the last verse of the 10th chapter. At the end of the 10th chapter, Krishna speaks this. You can repeat. Athava bahunaitena kim gyatena tavarjuna nistavyaham kritsnam ekam sena sthito jagat. So in the 10th, what is described in the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita? Opulences of Lord Krishna. How many opulences are described? 84. 84 opulences of Lord Krishna are described. It's like if you tell someone, you describe your home to someone and you glorify the features of your home. Or you've created a business and you're telling somebody, ये होता है, ऐसे होता है, ऐसे होता है, and you go on describing and that person is in awe. My God, आपने इतना बड़ा business बना दिया. It's like Mukesh Ambani, for example, or any who, Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook, इतना बड़ा. And then that person says, मालूम है, ये तो कुछ नहीं है. After describing all the 84 opulences, Krishna says, but what need is there, Arjuna, for all this detailed knowledge? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe. All these opulences, this is just a fragment of my energy. Just a fragment. Like some very rich fellow says, ये company तो मेरे लिए loose change है. And for us, we are not able to count the zeros in the net worth of that company. What will we feel about that person? So here Krishna, after describing all those opulences, tells Arjun, that is one fragment. Ekam stena sthito jagat. This is just a small fragment of my energy. So therefore, Arjun asks that question. Can you please show me that universal form? I want to see this fragment जो आप बोल रहे हो ना, I want to see that whole thing. That 84 opulences आपने जो describe किया, I want to see that universal form. And Srila Prabhupada in that 11th chapter purport writes, the Lord said that because he entered into the material universe by his personal representation, the cosmic manifestation has been made possible and is going on. Now, as far as Arjuna is concerned, he is inspired by the statement of Krishna. But in order to convince others in the future who may think that Krishna is an ordinary person, Arjuna desires to see him actually in his universal form, to see how he is acting from within the universe, although he is apart from it. So therefore, he requests, "Can you please show me the universal form?" Similarly, here in the Bhagavatam, it is described. Maitreya Muni describes that this is how this universal form is created, and then we can chant this verse. The conclusion of that is this: Prabuddha karma daivena. Prabuddha karma daivena. Trayovimshatiko gana. Prerito janayat swabhir. Matrabhir adipurusham. When the 23 principal elements were set in action by the will of the Supreme, the gigantic universal form, the Vishwarup body of the Lord, came into existence. Now, which type of creation is described here? Primary creation or secondary creation? Why primary? Okay, that's one reason. Why else is this primary creation? It's right, it's primary creation. Why else is it primary creation? It's coming from Krishna. It's coming from Krishna. Saying that Vishwarup body of the Lord by the will of the Lord. You see that second line? By the will of the Lord, all this comes into existence. Now, for an extra gulab jamun today, raise your hands. Who all can describe the 23 elements? It's like, "Hey, gulab jamun is nothing." For a complimentary Janmashtami Kalash. Now you're thinking, I should have read. Yeah. He always says, "Padh ke aao," I should have read. Free mein Kalash. I will not ask you. Okay, how many of you feel that you can narrate the 23 elements? Raise your hands. Okay, 1, 2, Pramod Gopinath Prabhu 3, Chanchal Prabhu 4, Sangeeta 1, somewhat nahi. All 23 कौन बोल सकता है? 4, 4, 4. Let's try. There are 4 sets of 5. 4 sets of 5. The easiest one is the gross elements: earth, water, fire, air, ether. Bhumi, Rapa, Nala, Vayu, Kham. Then Mana, Buddhir, Ahankar. That's the subtle elements. 8. Now 3 sets of 5. Karmendriyas. What are Karmendriyas? Then the objects of the Karmendriyas, which are sound, taste, smell, touch, smell, right? Sound, smell, sight, touch, taste. 5. Then there are the working senses, which are hands, legs, mouth for chewing and evacuating 2 organs. And then these 3 elements, 20. It's not very difficult. It's very simple. So 5 gross elements, 3 subtle elements, 5 knowledge acquiring senses, 5 working senses, and 5 objects. This makes it 23. Now these 23 elements are created by whom? By Brahma. How many say Brahma? Nobody says Brahma. Although some are confused now. They are obviously created by Krishna. And Brahma has nothing to do with this. But they are all in their dormant stage. And then what happens? Lord glances. Lord glances. So there is the Lord glances at Pradhan, which is just all these elements are just in like a, it is described in the Bhagavatam, a dark grey cloud in one corner. And the Lord glances. And when the Lord glances, what happens? This Pradhan gets agitated. Agitated, and what happens? It turns into Mahat Tattva. What is the difference for another Gulab Jamun? The difference between Pradhan and Mahat Tattva? Raise your hands. Yes, Mataji?
In Pradhan, everything is inactive, and in Mahat Tattva, the three modes are set into action.
Very good. So the three modes get, please give Mataji one extra Gulab Jamun. Two, she also knew those. These elements get activated, as we read here, by the glance of the Lord. This verse, what does it say? When the 23 principal elements were set in action by the will of the Supreme Lord, then this whole universe started. Universal form is nothing but the entire material creation. The entire material creation. So that happens when the Lord glances. And then the modes get activated, as Mataji said. So the modes get activated. So this is the 24th element. This is the 24th element. These are the 24 elements of creation. In Mahat Tattva, the modes of material nature in their activated form. And then false ego is created. And false ego in goodness, false ego in passion, false ego in ignorance create so many different things. This is all the creation of Krishna. So this is called in Sanskrit as Sarga. The Sarga. That's the first subject matter of Bhagavatam. And the second subject matter of Bhagavatam is Visarga, which is secondary creation, the creation of Lord Brahma. Now, what is the need of describing this again? Second canto में अभी पूरा पढ़ा creation के बारे में. अभी वापस third canto, that Vidur is asking, tell me Krishna Katha, and he is telling him all this. Why is creation described so many times? Raise your hands. Yes, Ashwini Prabhu. Okay, one reason is why the Lord is so great. Very good. What else? Raise your hands. Yes, Mataji.
Such an important topic that is repeated again and again, so that we also understand and gain understanding from different perspectives of who are speaking in the Bhagavatam.
Okay, so it is an important subject matter. Creation is an important subject matter, so it is repeated again so that we can understand better. Good. What else? One is it shows the greatness of the Lord. Second is it's an important subject matter for us to understand. What else? Yes, Vikas Prabhu. Okay, so half of it is what Ashwini Prabhu said, is that we get attracted to the Lord, and the other half is a new point so that we understand this is creation. So I should not be bewildered by my tiny world. Prabhupada gives the analogy of frog in the well. There's a frog in the well, and well, how big is a well? बहुत बड़ा well होगा तो भी कितना होगा? Size of this room. And one more frog comes into that well. Now this frog has come from the Atlantic Ocean. And so introduces himself. I have come from the Atlantic Ocean. This first frog has always been living his whole life in that well only. So he obviously is inquisitive. He asks, Atlantic Ocean कितना बड़ा है? Now this person has seen only this. So the other frogs are बहुत बड़ा है. Hey, tell me, हम मेरे well से कितना बड़ा है और? Right? So that frog said, I cannot decide. No, tell me, 2 times, 4 times, 8 times. How big is it? So Srila Prabhupada says that is how we think. How can anyone describe any ocean from the size of a well? So we should understand what creation is and then how insignificant we are. Any other points? Yes, Puja Mataji. Very good. So if we know that all these elements are ultimately coming from Krishna, so whatever I own also comes from Krishna. For one free gold kalash, this time we have two kalash, silver kalash on 15th August for a donation of 50,000 and gold kalash on 16th August, the day of Janmashtami, for a donation of 1 lakh. For one free gold kalash, can you name one thing in your life that is beyond these 23 elements? One thing in your life which is beyond earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence. Soul, mind, intelligence, athava, bahun, what is that next verse? After this, bhumira panalava yukham manabudireja ankarityam bhinna prakritastada aparyamitastvanyam prakritim vidhi me param jiva bhuta mahabhav yoidam dharitam. Talking about you are obviously spirit soul, but from a material perspective, yes. That is spiritual. From a material perspective, anything which is beyond these elements in your life. Nothing. There is nothing. Therefore, what she's saying is, when we know that there is nothing beyond the creation of Krishna, therefore everything should be used in Krishna's service. So, this is why in Bhagavatam, again in 4th canto, creation will be described. Then again in 5th canto, creation is described. Then again in 11th canto, creation is described. क्योंकि हम जैसे लोगों को 3rd कैंटो से 11th कैंटो पहुंचने में 10-15 साल लग जाएंगे, हम भूल जाएंगे, तो वापस पढ़ो. हम में से कुछ लोगों को 3rd कैंटो से 4th कैंटो जाने में 10 साल लग जाएंगे, वापस पढ़ो. So it's a very important subject matter, and therefore repetition is required. Now Srila Prabhupada gives a wonderful perspective, which is the subject of today's discussion about this whole creation. Srila Prabhupada writes that, please pay attention. The Lord inspires the individual soul to create what is already created by the Lord. I will repeat. The Lord inspires the individual soul to create what is already created by the Lord. And by the goodwill of the Lord, a discoverer of something in the world is accredited as the discoverer. It is said that Columbus discovered the Western Hemisphere, but actually the tract of land was not created by Columbus. The vast tract of land was already there by the omnipotency of the Supreme Lord, and Columbus, by dint of his past service unto the Lord, was blessed with the credit of discovering America. Similarly, no one can create anything without the sanction of the Lord, since everyone sees according to his ability. The ability is also awarded by the Lord according to one's willingness to render service unto the Lord. One must therefore be voluntarily willing to render service unto the Lord, and thus the Lord will empower the doer in proportion to his surrender unto the lotus feet of the Lord. So we can reflect on this, that this entire creation is Krishna's. It's created by Krishna. Brahma also fully understands, which we will discuss now after a while, that this is Krishna's creation. So whatever we own, it's ultimately Krishna's. It's coming from Krishna's energy, it's given by Krishna. So therefore we should be in a very reflective mode. Whenever something is taking us away from Krishna consciousness, or something that we are feeling very attached to it or very anxious to maintain it, we should understand this is given by Krishna. It's Krishna's will that I have it. I better utilize it in Krishna's service. And when Krishna desires to take it away, how can I say no? If you're staying on rent and the landlord one day tells you, I'm sorry, I want to move back into this place, so please vacate, you have to comply. You have to comply. Similarly, this entire creation is Krishna's, and no one can create without the sanction of the Lord. So the fact that we own things in life, we own property, we own vehicles, we own bank balance, we own facilities, we are owners of things. We should be fully convinced that this has come in my life by my hard work, or sanction of Krishna. Sanction of Krishna. By the sanction of Krishna. It has come by the sanction of Krishna. My hard work is secondary. You must be knowing in your life so many examples of people who work very, very hard, but they've not got what they should have got. They've got what they deserved, because what they deserved is what is coming to them. But externally, what they should have got, they have not got. So it's the will of the Lord. So first thing is I should feel very, 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 very grateful to Krishna for whatever I have, and never, ever, ever, ever feel this is due to my hard work, this is due to my inheritance, this is due to my family. It's ultimately the will of Krishna that has happened. So many people who are born into rich families don't get any inheritance. So many people whose parents leave things behind, they all get squandered away. So many people with nothing get so much. It's ultimately the sanction of Krishna. And therefore, we should feel a sense of gratitude for Krishna. That's one thing. And the other thing is, we should feel a sense that this has to be used in Krishna's service. Whatever I have, my talent, my health, my wealth, has to be used in Krishna's service because it's given by Krishna. So this puts things in perspective. This is why creation is described. So that we come to this conclusion, we can feel reflective on these things. That ultimately it's the will of the Lord. When the Lord desired, He glanced and these 23 elements got activated. Similarly, in my life, the Lord has glanced and therefore these things are there. Whatever is good in my life is Krishna's glance on it. Yes, Mataji.
How to look, like, understand free will with respect to the first time.
The Lord inspires the individual soul to create what is already created by the Lord.
Yeah, so where does the free will, which is also given by Krishna, how does that role get played?
So it is described that it's Srila Prabhupada's jargon, he always uses minute free will. The word minute is there before free will. So that free will is very, very tiny. And most of our material life is autopilot, it's karma. Right? The free will which we think we have is very, very small. And so the as Prabhupada says, the best use of that free will is use this in Krishna service. There's some tiny free will to take certain decisions, but broadly, the foundational things are the sanction of the Lord.
The Lord inspires, the activity of inspiration that He gives is nothing but free will. Can we think about things like that?
It is my desire to do something. So if we read the 5th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, in that Krishna describes the triangle: the living entity, material nature, and Krishna's sanction. In that, Krishna describes all the living entities doing in this triangle is desire. So to that extent, yes, I may desire to do something in some way, and then Krishna's sanction will come. But the end result of that is there in my karma and ultimately depends on Krishna whether he sanctions or not. Then if I want it in this way or if I want it in that way, that minute free will I have.
That, sorry, one thing, but that free will is originated through the three modes of material nature.
That free will is something that Krishna has given me. And that is why that's why a soul is individual. So because we are individual, there is that minute free will that is available.
In the perspective of these 23 elements, where does that fit in?
No, that free will is part of the soul. That soul has that free will in the spiritual world. In the spiritual world, nobody will misuse that free will. That's why they are there in the spiritual world. The minute a soul desires that, oh, why not do this for me, then they cannot be in the spiritual world. So they come to the material world. These are material elements. No, these are material elements. The 23 elements, they are all material. Subtle body is also material, right? It is there till the soul is in the material world. As soon as the soul gets liberated, there is true ego, which is my identity with Krishna, and mind, intelligence, it all gets burnt up. So these are this is why creation is discussed, so that we understand that who is the source of my creation, and everything that I own, it belongs to Krishna to be used in Krishna's service. Arjuna in the Bhagavatam, after Krishna left, we read that Arjuna, Yudhishthir Maharaj saw all these bad omens, and by then Arjuna reached. And then Arjuna describes to Yudhishthir Maharaj how, first he says, all the wonderful things that happened in my life were because of Krishna's presence. See, this is how a devotee thinks. This is how all of us should think. This is how all of us sometimes think. But we should always think like this. Is how Arjuna always thought. He describes all his achievements in life, all his accomplishments, one after the other, verse after verse, verse after verse. He describes how he won Draupadi, before that, how they survived in the forest, after that, how he won the war, one by one by one. He's how he got the weapon from Lord Shiva. All these things he describes. And then he says, what happened? Today, I couldn't even defend myself against cowherd men. And then he says this. He says, I have the very same Gandiva bow, the same arrows, the same chariot drawn by the same horses, and I use them as the same, Arjuna, to whom all the kings offered their due respects. But in the absence of Lord Krishna, all of them, at a moment's notice, have become null and void. It is exactly like offering clarified butter on ashes, accumulating money with a magic wand, or sowing seeds on a barren land. He's saying that till Krishna was there, all these things were possible. And now, the same horse, I'm the same, everything, my bow is the same, but the potency is lost because Krishna has left. So, as devotees always think that whatever abilities that I have, whatever talents that I have, whatever I'm able to do in my material life or in my spiritual life, both, they are the blessings of Krishna. They are the mercy of Krishna. अभी क्या होता है, sometimes we get into this devotee jargon. हाँ, सब भगवान की कृपा है, सब भगवान की mercy है. But sometimes it just becomes lip service. Mercy, 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 mercy. There's a funny video that this one devotee is standing outside the temple and he's just saying mercy, 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 mercy. And so his friend comes and says, अरे तुम इतने साल से devotee है, क्या mercy, mercy, इतना तो mercy है तुम्हारी life में. So he says, अरे मैं गौर से सुनो मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ. Mercedes, 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 Mercedes. Sometimes we use this Lord's mercy from a perspective of, I want this, if the Lord's mercy is there, I'll get it. But I have so much, that is also Lord's mercy. Whatever I'm able to do is the Lord's mercy. Srila Prabhupada says, the fact that a soul gets up in the morning and recollects everything is the mercy of Krishna. You imagine 6 hours, 8 hours, we are asleep. होता है ना कभी someone just wakes you up, it takes you a few seconds to realize who you are, where you are, what's going on. Happens. Sometimes when you go to some other place in the middle of the night, you don't know. मैं कहाँ हूँ? Okay, I've come to Vrindavan now. Okay. Prabhupada says that recollection of the soul is the Lord's mercy. The super soul in the heart sanctions, you are so and so. Okay, I'm so and so. Such a tiny thing is the mercy of the Lord. Not to speak of big things. So Arjuna is fully convinced that whatever great I have done till now was due to Krishna. And now you see, Krishna is gone, everything is gone. Not just Arjuna, Bhishma Dev, lying on the bed of arrows, preaching to Yudhishthir Maharaj. He told Yudhishthir Maharaj that you are personified dharma, and all your brothers are most pious people. Your mother, most pious. And all of you had Krishna by your side. And still so many difficulties came in your life. You can chant. Tasmadidam daiva tantram
तस्मादिदं दैवतन्त्रं
vyavasya bharatarsabha
यस्य भरतर्षभा
tasyanu vihito natha
तस्यानुविदो नाथा
natha pahi praja prabho.
नाथपाहि प्रजाप्रभो
Bhishma is telling Yudhishthir, O best among the descendants of Bharata, Yudhishthir, I maintain therefore that all this is within the plan of the Lord. Accepting the inconceivable plan of the Lord, you must follow it. You are now appointed administrative head. And my Lord, you should now take care of those subjects who are now rendered helpless. He's saying this is all the plan of the Lord. Now again, no more gold kalash. A devotee will see everything in their life from past and what's going on present, that yes, the Lord's hand is there in my life. And wherever I have done something wrong, what is that? What's the verse from Bhagavatam? Lord Brahma prays, Tatenukampa susamikshmana bhunjanya evatma kritam vipakam hridvagvapuvi vidada namaste jivetayo mukti pade sadhaya bhag. He's saying whatever difficulty is coming in my life, that is my karma coming to me. And with hridvag vapu, with mind, body and words, that person who is continuing to accept all this and serving you is guaranteed liberation. That's their rightful claim. So, seeing that everything is happening by the plan of the Lord, if there's some illness in my life, my karma coming to me, but it could not come without sanction of Krishna. My bad karma also cannot come to me without Krishna's sanction. And if Krishna has sanctioned it, here is the plan of the Lord, inconceivable plan, and you must follow it. There's no option but to follow it. So, when Srila Prabhupada named this International Society for Krishna Consciousness, this is called to be conscious of Krishna. To see the Lord's hand in my life, to see this as the plan of the Lord, to see how it all belongs to the Lord. This is called being conscious of Krishna. Krishna consciousness is not just when my finger is in the bead bag, or when I'm standing in front of Radha Rasbihari, or when I'm hearing or reading. Krishna consciousness is 24 hours. Being conscious of Krishna means to see whatever is happening, it's the sanction of the Lord, it's the plan of the Lord. And whatever difficulty is there also, it's my bad karma, but coming through the sanction of Krishna. And so even in that, Krishna has something better for me. Best example of that is Kunti Maharani. Kunti Maharani also, when Krishna was going, she offers her prayers. Here Bhishma Dev is offering his prayers. Before that, Arjuna is offering his realizations. Arjuna is saying, all my abilities because of Krishna. Krishna is gone, ability is gone. Bhishma is saying, in spite of this, all this happened. It was the plan of the Lord. What else? How else can we justify it? You know, sometimes we have these people come and they ask these questions. मैंने मेरे साथ ये हुआ, मेरे साथ ये हुआ, ये कैसे हुआ, ये क्यों हुआ? मैंने फिर भी इतना try किया. I tried my best to avoid that situation. It still happened in my life. Why? We may break down various things and ask various questions and come to because of this, because of that, because of that. But ultimately, when we reach a dead end where we say, I don't know. I don't know why this happened to you. So ultimately, it happened, right? So it cannot happen without the will of the Lord. So it is the will of the Lord. And therefore, it has come. My bad karma. It's not that Krishna wants to punish me. I am owner. I take ownership. But it's happened. That means Krishna sanctioned it. So Srimad Bhagavatam when teaches us in difficult times how to uplift ourselves, and in good times how to bring us down. in difficult times how to get uplifted and come out of whatever disappointment, and not to get overly elated in certain times and be grounded in that time also. अर्जुन का सब ले लिया, मेरा भी कभी भी कुछ भी हो सकता है. Arjun is saying that same Gandiva, that same horse, I am the same. But that some factor is gone. In management, they say, what is that? The X factor. That X factor is not something that a life coach or a career coach will teach us, or some management guru will. That X factor is Krishna. You don't remember anything else from today's class, you just remember this. Krishna is the X factor. He's the X factor in life. Therefore, Kunti Maharani prays. Repeat. Maya Javani Ka Channam Agya Dhoksajam Avyayam Lakshya Se Mudadrisha Nato Natya Dharo Yatha. Being beyond the range of limited sense perception, you are the eternally irreproachable factor covered by the curtain of diluting energy. You are invisible to the foolish observer, exactly as an actor dressed as a player is not recognized. She's saying, you are behind everything. But someone who's foolish cannot see you. This creation is described again and again in Bhagavatam to show, अरे इसके पीछे कौन है? कृष्णा है. And आपके घर के पीछे कौन है? Not Lodha. It's Krishna, ultimately. Not my hard work, my papa's inheritance. It's Krishna. So that, Kunti Maharani is saying, though because of limited sense perception, people cannot understand. You're covered by a curtain. People are not able to see that you are there, that it's your sanction. So, this we should understand. Here it is from the perspective of full creation. We should at least understand in that frog well life of mine. Me, my wife, my children, my home, my job, my business, my everything. Ultimately, it's Krishna. Krishna is behind all of it, and therefore I should use it in Krishna's service. After this, then again Brahma coming is described. So we know manifestation of Brahma from the navel of Lord Vishnu. Which Vishnu? Garbhodakshai Vishnu. Garbhodakshai Vishnu. Someone has said Nabhi Vishnu. Second canto when we had this test on creation. So it is described again in this third canto, chapter 9, Brahma coming, and then Brahma is, what does he do? He hears this sound, tapa, and then he performs austerity. And then what happens? The Lord reveals knowledge to him. He reveals knowledge to him. And then after that, Brahma composes prayers, which were also there in the second canto. And more of those are there in the third canto, one of which is this wonderful prayer, which is again to remind us. Let's read. Yannaभिपद्म भवनादहमासमिद्य लोकत्रयोपकरणो यदनुग्रहेण तस्मै नमस्त उदरस्थ भवाय योग निद्रावसान विकसन नलिनेशनाय. O object of my worship, I am born from the house of your lotus navel for the purpose of creating the universe by your mercy. all these planets of the universe were stationed within your transcendental abdomen while you were enjoying sleep. Now, your sleep having ended, your eyes are open like blossoming lotuses in the morning. See, now that this is there, so now again creation has to happen. And then he prays, the Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead, is always the benefactor of the surrendered souls. His activities are always enacted through his internal potency, Ram or the goddess of fortune, Rama or the goddess of fortune. I pray only to engage in his service in the creation of the material world, and I pray that I may not be materially affected by my works, for thus I may be able to give up the false prestige of being the creator. Saying that all this is happening because of Krishna. And let me not ever get illusion that it is because of me. Let me never feel illusion that ये मेरे मेहनत से है या मेरे वजह से है. Right? This does not give anyone a license to just sit and do nothing. But we do our duty, but we always understand this is Krishna's sanction. Only then will we be able to be Krishna conscious. Only then, when everything that is happening in our life, we feel this is because of the Lord. Good things. And bad things we understand my karma, but ultimately Lord's sanction. Then we will feel Krishna's presence in our life. So many examples. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, at the end of every chapter of Chaitanya Charitamrita, writes, Shiru Prabhunath Padeyaras Chaitanya Charitamrita Kahe Krishnadas. He's praying that because of the mercy of Rup and Raghunath, I am able to write this. Srila Prabhupada, for everything, mercy of my Guru Maharaj, mercy of my Guru Maharaj, mercy of my Guru Maharaj. Similarly, we understand that all this is happening because of the Lord. Whatever talent I have, it is because of the Lord. Whatever facility I have, it is because of the Lord. The fact that I have come into Krishna consciousness and I have association of devotees, that's the mercy of the Lord. And therefore, I feel very grateful and thankful to Krishna. And when I regularly think like this, in this mood, when I perform devotional service, that chanting, that hearing, that reading, that serving devotees, that is in very good consciousness. Because that consciousness is there that it is happening because of Krishna. I don't have any illusion here, Brahma is saying. May I never be in illusion that ये मेरे वजह से हो रहा है. I've got this service because I am talented. I've got these things because I have done something. Devotees like me because I am likable. So we feel the presence of Krishna. So this is why creation is described again and again to make us feel the presence of Krishna. In these chapters 8, 9, 8 is in chapter 8 it is described about the manifestation of Brahma. Chapter 9 is the prayers of Brahma, and chapter 10 is Brahma's creation, the secondary creation that is described. How Brahma created these bodies, immovable bodies, plants, trees, movable bodies, birds, beasts, human beings, demigods. These are all part of this. These bodies are part of the secondary creation, the shapes that we are. So this is Brahma. That is described in the 10th chapter. And then the 11th chapter, the division of time is described. It's very, very fascinating. Sometimes we get fascinated by the knowledge of the world. We get fascinated by things that we read on the internet or the videos that we see. But when we read, the reason we get fascinated by that is because we don't read Bhagavatam sufficiently. Even from a perspective of knowledge, the Bhagavatam has so much knowledge to fascinate us that when we know that, we feel, क्या है इसमें बड़ी बात क्या है? You're trying to go to Mars, or you're trying to do this, or you have created technology in which everything is on it. What's so great about that? Let's see what's written in Bhagavatam. In Bhagavatam, it is described the division of time to how much? 8 divided by 16,352 seconds. उतना division of time भी है. You cannot. 1 second is gone. 1 second divided 8 divided by whatever I just said, 16,532. It's inconceivable. And then वहां से 365 is described. days. So much detail. In the same canto, later on, it is described the journey of the embryo in the womb of the mother. And when His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj in the 80s had presented a set of Bhagavatam to one gynecologist in America and then showed him this third canto and showed him that chapter, the gynecologist said, "My God, I am amazed that this was said 5,000 years ago. Because modern medical science has just discovered this 20, 30 years back." You know, the whole process of sonography, when was it discovered? In the last century? 50, 60 years से ज़्यादा नहीं. एंड भागवतम में तो उसका डिटेल है, एंड जितना सोनोग्राफी के बाहर है वो भी है. You know, the sonography can tell you limited things. Bhagavatam tells you much more. Sonography doesn't tell you the soul is crying. Crying is promising, now this time I will not mess up. We promise I will read Bhagavatam. हमारे लिए ही है वो, again and again creation is described. So the point is, the more we read Bhagavatam, the less we will get fascinated by things of the world. The fact that we are getting fascinated by things of the world is because we are not reading Bhagavatam sufficiently. We are not reading Krishna Katha sufficiently. We are not doing sufficient Shravanam. That is why I feel fascinated. There is nothing fascinating in the material world. Because we don't know these things, we feel fascinated. Okay, so this is the purpose of these descriptions. Chapter 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10 are there to help us understand that Krishna is behind everything. And therefore I should feel grateful to Krishna and use everything in Krishna's service. Hare Krishna. Any questions? Sunil Prabhu? No, no. Yes, Sunil Prabhu, sorry.
Like you explained that everything is because of God's mercy and everything is happening because there's God's will in it. So, how do we prevent ourselves from using that as an excuse for not doing our part?
Yeah. So that's why in the Bhagavad Gita, first Krishna emphasizes all that in chapter 2, in chapter 3, in chapter 5 about duty, about performing our activities. So we see, one thing is true, that nothing will move without the sanction of the Lord. Even if I don't do anything, what is due to me will come. But I cannot not do anything. Right? I'm a social being, I have to do something. So then what is the next best thing? I do something with the conviction that the results of this are only will come when Krishna's sanction is there. And they have to be used in Krishna's service. So either I directly serve Krishna or I indirectly serve Krishna. Ultimately, everyone is serving Krishna. In the 11th verse of the 4th chapter, Krishna says, Ye yatha mam prapadyante tam sateva bhajamyam. This much we all understand. As you surrender unto me, that way I will reciprocate. Mama vartamanu vartante manushya partha sarvasa. The second line says, everyone follows my path in all respects, O son of Pritha. What does that mean? So many people don't worship Krishna. How are they following Krishna's path? Ultimately, whatever Krishna wants is happening in their life. So they are following Krishna's path. Whatever they are utilizing is ultimately the energy of Krishna. They are following Krishna's path. So if I am using it as an excuse to do nothing, I'm still, it's still happening. But if I don't do that, the other extreme is that I fully believe that I am doing it, and then I just skip Krishna from the whole thing. So both these extremes are not they are not real. The reality is that what is due to me is coming. It is coming by Krishna's sanction, and I have to use it in Krishna's service. I hope that answers the question. Continue with the
Gandhi would go same chariot and are not able to defeat Lord. So, is this story true that when Krishna, after the war, when he got out from the chariot, the chariot got blasted? If that chariot got blasted, is this story is actually true or not?
Yes, that story is true that as soon as Arjuna got down from the chariot, when the war got over, Arjuna told Krishna, now you please go, because you open the door for an elder of a respectable person, you allow them to go first and then you go. So Arjuna did that. Krishna said, no, you go. And Arjuna said, no, 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 wo ho gaya, Lord, that is over now. Now again I am servant, you are master, you go. No, you go. You please go. Don't argue. You go. And then Arjuna got down. As soon as Krishna got down, the chariot broke into hundreds of pieces. And Arjuna could understand that the only reason everything was held together was because Krishna wanted it. Krishna's potency held it together. But we can allow ourselves to speculate that Arjuna had multiple chariots. The breaking up is not mentioned in Bhagavatam, but the Acharyas mentioned that. But this is mentioned in Bhagavatam, this verse. And Arjuna saying that I was taking the queens of Dwarka and these coward attacked and I couldn't even defend them and they got kidnapped and I got defeated. And that is because Krishna's, now that potency of the Lord which was making me do all these things has been withdrawn by the Lord. And just after Yudhishthira Maharaj heard all this, the chapter is titled The Pandavas Retire Timely. Timely, not like Dhritarashtra. They understood, okay, ठीक है, अभी potency ले लिया भगवान ने. The reason why so many people are dissatisfied in life as time evolves is because we want to hold on to everything that we have, including our talent. And then many times unceremoniously we are dethroned by some younger person who has learned whatever we know in a better way or is doing things in a better way, and we are not able to do that. At that time, people become grudging, they become insecure. But if at that time someone thinks, okay, it was good till now, and now things are changing. Krishna has withdrawn that Aishwarya in my life, and I should accept it. My prayer is that your voice always remains perfect. But we have example of Indra Prabhu, who in the 90s, when his voice started faltering, he changed his entire style of Kirtan. In an interview, he says, I could understand that this is also Krishna's mercy because now he wants me to involve more people in the Kirtan. And I could understand that Krishna took my voice for that. So we have some talents even in devotional service. Sometimes with time, we should understand that that's Krishna's will. The beauty of Krishna consciousness is that with time, my attraction or my affection for Krishna should increase so much that when I grow old, I will just be peaceful chanting Hare Krishna or just hearing Bhagavatam and sharing my realizations. My realizations will become sweeter and sweeter, stronger and stronger as time goes by. My bodily talents will become weaker and weaker as time goes by. And that I should understand. Okay, Krishna has withdrawn that Aishwarya. But that's the beauty of Krishna consciousness. That will go deeper and deeper and deeper. My satisfaction will increase more and more. Materially, nobody can claim that. That is why people are so dissatisfied as they grow older in life. Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji.
If in one of the chapters it's also said the Lord is self. So where do all these souls perpetually come about? When he is self-born, so that itself says that souls existed
Eternally.
Yeah.
So that's it. They are eternally there. They are the Srila Prabhupada says that because we have this conception of things coming and going, things getting created and getting destroyed, that is the bodily conception. That is ingrained in us. And that is why we always think soul पैदा कैसे हुआ? How did it all start? अरे नहीं पर शुरू कैसे हुआ? But it's anadi. It's beginningless. But we don't have a conception of that. It's like, that there were these video games when certain stages would be like never ending stages. It just go on till you die. Till you die, it'll just go on. So it's just unending. Yeah, Aja, unborn. Aja, unborn. He's unborn. Soul is also unborn, eternal.
Just to compare it with modern physics and what has been so far scientifically proven, what do we compare that with? There's no comparison, but at least whatever they've discovered, right, beyond.
I have no idea.
I'm
a commerce student.
Entire universe, and there are whatever n number of black holes there and metaverses and everything. There has to be some element which defines that there is a perpetual existence of something, right?
Yeah, so science doesn't believe in that. That's the whole point.
Science has not
Figured it out. Exactly. So that perpetual thing is ultimately time. And with time, there is this duration of these yugas. Until then, this creation will be there. And then there'll be partial annihilation. And it'll all go inside. And then there'll be complete annihilation when Brahma's whole lifetime is over. And then everything will go inside. And then again, there'll be creation. So that is actually described in this next chapter, the division of time.
Yeah, but the time itself is not Krishna.
Time is an energy of Krishna.
Yeah, but time in its whole sense is not Krishna. Like in modern science would say time is probably everything. Like physics.
So in the Gita, Krishna says, right, there are 5 subject matters that have to be described. One of them is Kal. Kal is time. So Bhishma Dev himself says this time factor, which is making everything move. So you could say time. And ultimately, I mean, connecting what you are saying to today's discussion is the will of the Lord. This creation goes on for, Kali Yuga goes on for 4,20,000 years. And there is again Satyug, this whole goes on till Brahma's day. And then again it's annihilated Brahma's night. And again it happens. This is the will of the Lord.
Would it be possible that this is a different vocabulary? What we call in Vedic scriptures, Krishna, Brahma, Lord Shiva, all these entities, everything in material creation. What modern science is, I'm sorry, I'm not arguing, just I want to clarify what I have. Modern science is just using a different terminology, like a language, like English language or a Hindi language. But eventually they all kind of are talking about the same thing, but in different language. But the essence is eventually the same.
So first thing is
There's no need to ridicule as to, okay, maybe modern science don't have as much of recorded literature so far proven, but whatever has been done is still good enough for some people to assume and understand some parts of the creation.
the thing is that when we say Krishna, Brahma, Shiva, these are not allegorical references. They are personalities. So there is nothing that this vague thing is referred to as Shiva. No, there is a person, Lord Shiva. And second thing, the problem with modern science's explanation of anything is that it is devoid of God. It is devoid of the creator. And it is all, there should be a physical or a chemical explanation to that. And that's the problem with science. And therefore, they keep revising themselves. And therefore, it is called as imperfect. That's why it's imperfect. That's why Prabhupada used to call it atheistic. Why is it atheistic? Because they have removed Krishna. This whole secondary creation, Brahma is saying, मैं कर रहा हूं पर I should never forget that Krishna के वजह से हो रहा है and ये जो elements भी है वो कृष्णा ने दिए हैं. So modern science, that's the problem. If the scientists say that okay, this is there and ultimately it's coming from the Lord, there's nothing wrong with modern, because they are not doing that and they are not referring to Shastra, therefore they contradict each other and they never come to this right conclusion. You have the story of Newton putting that whole solar system and bringing an atheistic scientist friend who tells him that, wow, who made this? And Newton says, no, by chance it happened. Why are you kidding me? Tell me who made this. This you feel cannot happen by chance, but the actual solar system you're saying happened by chance. So that's the problem with modern science. All right. Yes, Prabhu, last question.
I can do a good thing or bad thing. And suppose, as you said that Krishna, as per Krishna's sanction only, it will happen, right? So you said that the willingness, tiny willingness we have. So how it is different than the sanction of Krishna and my willingness? What I can.
That is desire. I desire, I want it. Then if it is in my karma, Krishna will sanction. If it is not in my karma, Krishna will not sanction. That desire to do something, that is my will. I may desire from here to go back to the temple hall and take darshan. From here, I may desire to go to PVR and watch some movie not called Mahanarsimha, Mahavatar. Everyone is allowed to go to PVR for some more time, but only to watch that movie. So that's my choice. That's the thing that I have. Then the sanction of the Lord is there. So that okay, ठीक है, you have this desire, okay, go. You want to, after getting a spiritual experience, want to wash it over, wash it up, and again get lost in illusion. Okay, do it. You wanted, you do it. Hare Krishna. There are some announcements. Jhulan Yatra starts from when? 5th, which is Wednesday. Today 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, Tuesday. It starts on Tuesday and it will go on till next Saturday, till next Sunday. So this time many days. Every day you can come in the evening here to the courtyard and swing Radha Ras Bihari from 7:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. Please do come. And next Saturday is Balram Purnima. It's the appearance day of Lord Balram. So we fast till noon. And the weekend after that, the Saturday after that is Janmashtami. 16th August is Janmashtami, the appearance day of Lord Krishna. So as I said earlier, here this year they have two Kalash. 15th August is also Kalash, silver Kalash, and 16th August is Suvarna gold Kalash. 15th August Kalash, silver Kalash is for a donation of 51,000, gold Kalash is for a donation of 1 lakh. Anyone who's interested to do, you can let us know and then you can come and do Abhishek. And then 17th August is Srila Prabhupada's Vyas Puja, the appearance day of Srila Prabhupada. Again, we fast till noon. There'll be a nice glorification program here. It's a Sunday. So please do come and hear Srila Prabhupada's glorification. You can come, honor the feast. And even that day, there is Kalash Abhishek of Prabhupada. You can bathe Srila Prabhupada's deity. And that is for a donation of 8,000 rupees. So anyone wants to participate in any of these Kalash, please get in touch with us and we'll arrange for you. Also, Vrindavan Yatra is there from 17th October. The Yatra starts. 17th October afternoon, the Yatra starts. So you need to reach Vrindavan on 17th October morning. And the Yatra concludes on 25th October. That is the disappearance day of Srila Prabhupada. So we will attend the disappearance day program in Vrindavan, honor the feast, and then evening we board our respective modes of transport back to Mumbai. So 17 to 25. Tomorrow the message will be posted on the groups, whichever group you are in, connected to us, the message will be posted. And please do register yourselves. If you need some accommodation help, then there's a link there. We've arranged some rooms in a guest house just very close by to the temple. So if you like, you can block those rooms by paying a registration fee. But please do come. Deen Bandhu Prabhu, I just spoke to him on the day of his birthday. So he was very excited for the Kartik Yatra. Looking forward to seeing everyone. So please do come. How many of you plan to come for the Kartik Yatra? Okay, good. More hands, Krishna willing. So please participate as time goes by. it is becoming more and more rare to have association of these disciples of Srila Prabhupada. It's just a matter of time, unfortunately, where they will all go back to the spiritual world. So let's make most of the time and let's participate in Parikrama with Deenbandhu Prabhu. Every evening we invite special devotees to give us their association. So Vrindavan Yatra, I know many of us look forward to Vrindavan Yatra. The whole year we look forward to Vrindavan. So let us participate. You, whatever is there, just handle your situation in such a way that you can come for those 8 days to Vrindavan and let us go in association of devotees to all these wonderful holy places. So tomorrow morning, please watch out on the group. The message will be posted. Please do register yourselves so that all arrangements can be made for you. That's about Vrindavan Yatra sponsorship. Today's Sangha Prasadam has been sponsored by Jyoti Agarwal Mataji. So she regularly sponsors. In fact, she has said whenever koi sponsor hoga nahi to bata dena. I will sponsor. That's a very nice mood. So let us pray for Jyoti Mataji. Let us pray for her family, her son, that may they be blessed by the Lord for this wonderful mood and for sponsoring Prasad. May they be blessed with pure devotional service and with shelter under the Lord's lotus feet. Let's do that by once chanting the holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Again, those of you who want to participate in the Kalash, please get in touch with any one of us. With the